Welcome to the Sowing Hope podcast. This is a show all about implanting hope in our hearts. I'm Bill Snyder, joined by my friend Ann DeSantis. We're glad you're here for our uplifting conversation about faith and how it sustains our hearts through all the seasons of life. Thanks for walking with us. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Sowing Hope. I am Bill Snyder. It's great to be with you. It's been a while since we have been on the air with you, but I am so very excited to be sharing this time with you on this special episode. As always, I am joined by my good friend and co-host, Ann DeSantis. We're going to be talking with you today a little bit about the new speaking series that we are offering called Truth and Compassion. And it's always wonderful to be with you. I'm excited to be talking about this topic today.
I am too, Bill. And this whole idea of doing a speaking series on truth and compassion is a good one. You and I have been working together for such a long time. We started doing podcasts right around when the pandemic came, which was around March of 2020. And ever since then, the Sowing Hope podcast has been around, where we sow hope into broken hearts. We have, I think, like over 250 episodes. And of course, there was the branch off of my own show, Journeys in Faith, which is a beautiful thing too. And we are making that invitation to all of you to actually consider having Bill and I come out to do either a parish mission, a talk series, or even a conference for your parish, archdiocese, diocese, organization, everything that you can think of, because we want to get the word out about this wonderful series that we have done. Now, the way that you can do that, obviously, is maybe you're seeing this either on an email blast or on social media, wherever you're seeing it. It would be great if you can just share it out to your friends and family and let them know the great work that we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to give a little bit of background on how, or the little bit of the content of what you're going to be, hearing in this series, right? Like the title, Truth and Compassion, right? We see these two things often juxtaposed in our society, right? We see that, if you're spreading the truth of the faith out, then you can't be compassionate. And if you're just compassionate, then you're neglecting the truth of the faith. Well, that's not necessarily true. And so, Ann and I have spent an awful lot of time working together on this, and it's really highlighted at both of our ministries, right? Ann has a beautiful book out called Love and Care for the Marginalized that really talks about how to bring the truth and also practical example into one's life to go and do compassion and lift up those marginalized by society. And so offering the speaker series, we're going to be talking about how to live in the truth, but also at the same time be compassionate. And when you look at both Ann and my personal story, and we've shared this before, that through health challenges, we've both had significant health challenges in our life, and when you go through that, it tends to make you just a more compassionate person. It helps you listen, helps you understand that others are out there suffering as well when you deal with those big things in your life, and so. That is one of the things that we bring in our experience to the mission, to the speaker series. However, we are also fiercely Catholic, and we want to spread the truth of the Catholic faith, right? So this is all about bringing those two things together to give you practical wisdom, practical tools to go out and live your faith. Because when you go live your faith, you're not just living it in the church once a week on Sunday. You're living it throughout the week with your family, at your workplace, and everything. So how do we bring those things together? And any thoughts you want to add on that?
Yeah, that's great, Bill. I think you did a good job just describing it. This is a half an hour podcast or so, somewhere give or take. So we hope to cover a lot of things during this. But I think the best way for you to learn about it is we have a beautiful flyer too that you can just go to my website, andesantis.com, under the speaking events page, and you can take that flyer and you can send it off to wherever you want to send it, as I mentioned before. But it gives you that information that it's truth and compassion. So we're going to be talking about the truths of the faith and also how you can materialize it into being a more compassionate person. Now, a one night mission, it could be a couple nights, 3 nights, it could be a conference. And as I said, it could be your parish, your archdiocese, diocese, you voice. But if you're watching this right now, maybe you're even watching it through an email blast that you got from either Bill or myself. Would you just do us a favor and send this to your contacts, send this to church? Because that's the way that we can do this, right, Bill? I think that's the best way that we can spread the word.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to spread the word, get it out there. Please, right? Especially as Ann just said, if you see it in an email blast, forward it on to your director of evangelization, forward it on to the director of, um, youth ministry, or, uh, whoever in your parish is a person who can, make some decisions to bring in speakers, right? Pastors are typically pretty busy people. So, forward it to somebody in the parish office who can really, bring it to the pastor, bring it to the events coordinators. And, I want to be very, very clear, on, at least, on our end, that we will work with you, right? Like, we want to be doing this. This is about the spreading the mission of Jesus Christ throughout, um, you know, the world, right? That's the ultimate thing here, right? So we will work with you on, times and dates and budgets, so that we can bring this. We ultimately want to be doing this to serve the church, and help others get closer to Jesus. We've Ann and I have spent so much time on the air together. As Ann said, it's like 200 and some episodes, right, where we bounce back and forth, and we're able to really feed off one another's energy and enthusiasm. Um, so being able to, just have that confidence in knowing that, working together, you're going to have a beautiful, seamless, you know, authentically Catholic experience for your parish, for your group. I think help goes a long way, and the fact that we also try and live this to the best of our abilities in our lives, which means that we want to make it, affordable and attainable for the average parish, the average diocese in America to be able to do this. We're not, looking for, massive amounts of money to bring this to your parish or your group. And so I just want to be, make that clear. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to do this, and I can't wait. I'm super excited to bring this to whatever, whoever answers first, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Whoever answers first. And I mean, I was going to say there's no group that's too big. We do want to just get this message out there, and we hope to hear from you. I just want to kind of go back to talk about compassion, because we will root our talks, everything that we do, in the truth of the church, but we also really want to teach people how to materialize the compassion, because that's where there's a disconnect, I think. And I know that the teachings of our Holy Father, Pope Francis, he talks so much about that, and how just through being able to listen to people, listen to the things that are going on in their lives, it doesn't always mean, sometimes when you listen to people's lives, you're going to hear things that you disagree with. You're going to hear things that you might say, you know what, I wouldn't do it that way, or that person's in sin. But it's not about that. We believe what we believe, and that change. But we also want to help to give you those tools so that you can make better outreach to your friends, your family, and those in need. Right, Bill? That's what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish.
Absolutely. That's exactly what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. And, giving people tools and, um, practical wisdom that they can take out into their daily lives. Like, I think about this often, is that, how much you need to live your faith in the ordinary circumstances of life. Like, being an Uber driver, being a work from home dad in full time ministry. Like, I have to put my faith to practice in those moments, right? Not to, you know, launch into a diatribe against my 3 year old, or to be respectful and listen to a passenger who has had a really tough day, or maybe be respectful enough not to say anything when the Uber app says I would like a quiet car. Like, and so there's these are all ways that we live our faith out. We live with compassion and truth. And again, it doesn't mean that we're here to sacrifice our beliefs, right? Like, I mean, I think that that's a big thing when people look at compassion. They're like, oh, well, that means you have to sacrifice your beliefs and you have to, cater to, their desires and their wishes. And no, that's not what compassion is. Compassion is authentically showing that you care, and even if they're in sin or they're wrong about a doctrine of the church, to listen to where they're coming from and respond in truth and charity, right? To be able to respond in a way that says, "Hey, even if I disagree with you on this, I can still love you. I can still care about you. I want to, care for you as a child of God, and I'll pray for you in this situation that you might, come to understand the truth in a deeper way." It doesn't mean that we, throw you out of the car and, cancel the ride in the middle of the in the middle of the trip. Like, we listen, and we, as Ann said, Pope Francis is big into that, listening to the other person, and then responding with truth and with love and with charity. And that's harder than it looks, right? And that's a lot harder than it looks, which is the reason why we're doing a parish mission on it.
Yes, that's right. And there is so much more even than what you're hearing on this podcast. I mean, we're just kind of whetting your appetite for what is to come. There's so much to come. And we're taking this right now in June of 2024, but this invitation is really ongoing. So if you're watching this later on, maybe you're watching it either on my website at andesantis.com or on the Patchwork Heart Ministry website, patchworkheart.org. Just take it upon yourself to please reach out to us. Now, I should mention that Bill and I have also authored some books together. I wrote a book a few years ago, Love and Care for the Marginalized. So it does have, something to do also with the book that I wrote. And then Bill and I also wrote a book a couple years back too. And I wondered if Bill, you wanted to talk about that. It's available through Patchwork Heart Ministry. And we wrote the book that's specifically for and geared for younger people and evangelizing to them. So, Bill, I didn't know if you wanted to say a few words about our book.
Yeah, absolutely, I will. So it's called Hearts Burning Within Us, and it's a question and answer book for college students. We joined together with some college ministers, and we compiled a book that answered the questions that are deepest on their heart. And we used, obviously, the Catechism of the Catholic Church to answer those questions. But in addition to that, we also answered them from this accompaniment perspective. So each week we would meet with these 5 or 6 different Catholic college students from 3 different universities, and we would talk with them about the questions that were on their heart. We would write a response. They would read that response. Then we'd have an hour-long discussion about it. This was happening during the pandemic when everything was shut down. It was much easier to do 100% virtual stuff. And so we got together with them weekly and really met with them. And it didn't mean that, again, we were changing the church's teaching on certain topics, but we were able to flesh out a relatable way to share these stories and share the gospel with them, right? So that's how we approached the book. I think it's pretty, it's a pretty unique way of looking at how we can convey the faith, again, with both truth and compassion, right? We used heavily the catechism, we used the teaching of the church, we used the writings of the saints, we used all of those things, but when we presented that, oftentimes the students would say, "Hey, okay, I understand that. Can it be phrased this way so that it's more palatable to our generation of students? And we go, okay, yes, and then sometimes, okay, no, and we would explain why, and then that would make it into the book. And so you're going to see, if you read the book, I think it's a great resource for those graduating, or have just graduated high school as they go off to college. I encourage you to pop over to our website, or right on Amazon, you can search for Hearts Burning Within Us and get a copy of the book. But, this is really where it stems from, that we've spent some, about the parish missions that we're going to be offering and to dioceses and whatnot. The speaking series is probably what we should call it, because that's what it is. That's where it stems from just this body of work that Ann and I have done together over the last 5 years. I mean, we started this in 2020 or 2019. It was pretty close to the start of the pandemic. So we've been doing this for quite some time, and we're really excited to bring this entire experience to your parish.
Yeah, exactly. We are very excited, and Hearts Burning Within Us. And if you'd like to purchase the book, you can either go to Amazon or simply go to Bill's website at patchworkheart.org. And if we do a speaking series for you, we can bring along the book out and learn more about the books that we wrote. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that the purpose of this podcast really is to get to know you, to get to know us. And hopefully we will get to know you, and we will get to come out to wherever you're located. I mean, I'm in the Philadelphia area, so I make that invitation to those who are watching who are from the greater Philadelphia area, that Bill can easily get here. He actually has family here, so it would be easy for him to get out to this area. And I can get out to his area too, for the Wisconsin area, or anywhere between, right, Bill? I mean, so we really just want to get the word out. And I just thank all of you, because I know that this will happen because you watched this podcast and you became interested, and then you passed it along to someone. Maybe you're the decision. You. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you so much. This has been awesome to be with you and to be sharing about the this speaking series, a Sowing Hope speaking series that we can do for your parishes and your groups. Please don't again hesitate to reach out to us through Ann's website, anndesantis.com. Head over there, get booked, or at least pass this podcast email blast off to your pastor, off to your parish council, those decision makers in your parish that can bring it to you. And yeah, we're very excited about it. So once again, Ann, thank you so much for your time being here, sharing this message. I can't wait to get started.
Yeah, same here, Bill. And thank you all. Again, reach out to us at my website to book the speaking engagement, anndesantis.com, and learn Patchwork Heart at patchworkheart.org. God bless.
All right, and thank you again, and to all of us from Patchwork Heart Ministry. May God bless you, keep your families, and keep beating to those Catholic hearts.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Sowing Hope on Patchwork Heart Radio. For more information about this podcast and our ministries, visit our websites, patchworkheart.org and anndesantis.com. You can also follow and interact with us on Twitter at PWH Ministry or Ann DeSantis 2.